So this is part 5. Remember, they're changing my voice. I left off in part 4 talking to you about various things. One is verse 23. Buy the truth and do not sell it, wisdom and instruction and insight as well. The father of a righteous child has great joy. A man who fathers a wise son rejoices. May your father and mother rejoice. May she who gave you birth be joyful. My son, give me your heart and let your eyes delight in my ways. So he says, buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom and instruction and insight as well. Now it's going to then talk about, the adulterous woman. So God is saying to you, give me your heart through the prophets. The prophets who are like the true fathers of the Bible, so to speak, right? God is the one true father. They're the fathers, right? They're saying to you to give them your heart. And it's aimed mostly at the males. There's one logical way to interpret this, because it says, my son, give me your heart and let your eyes delight in my ways. For an adulterous woman is a deep pit, and a wayward wife is a narrow well. So Babylon is the pit. Babylon is called daughter Babylon. Jerusalem in this world is in rebellion, like it says in Galatians 4. So it's part of the greater Babylonian system. It's in rebellion, the whole global system. And it's a deep pit that people are stuck in. A wayward wife is a narrow well. Like a bandit, she lies in wait and multiplies the unfaithful among men, multiplies the spirits of demons and their hosts, the people. She is in rebellion. Who has woe, who has sorrow, who has strife, who has complaints, who has needless bruises, who has bloodshot eyes, those who linger over wine, who go to sample bowls of mixed wine, right? Their blood, their spiritual blood, their blood symbolizes what they live and die for. As they say, it's in their blood. Do not gaze at wine when it is red, when it sparkles in the cup, when it goes down smoothly. In the end, it bites like a snake and poisons like a viper, brood of vipers. Your eyes will see strange sights, and your mind will imagine confusing things. You will be like one sleeping on the high seas, lying on the top of the rigging. They hit me, you will say, but I'm not hurt. They beat me, but I don't feel it. When will I wake up so I can find another drink? So you'll go into various fugue states, various states of denial. You'll go mad with terror, afraid to do the right thing. Some people seem very calm when they go mad with terror. It has various effects on various people due to their physiology, their genes, the circumstances of their life, who they're listening to, about how to respond, etc. That leads us to Proverbs 31, sayings of King Lemuel. For those of you who think that I'm an incel because you lost your minds, ask yourself, why is his mother warning him? Why is the mother of King Lemuel warning him about women? The sayings of King Lemuel, an inspired utterance his mother taught him. Listen, my son. Listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son, the answer to my prayers. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, not for rulers to crave beer, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and deprive all the oppressed of their rights. Let beer be for those who are perishing, wine for those who are in anguish. Let them drink and forget their poverty, and remember their misery no more. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all those who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy. So what does the King of God do? He, in truth, speaks up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all those who are destitute. He speaks up and judges fairly, defends the rights of the poor and needy. Bruce Lee didn't do this. Jackie Chan didn't do this. And it's because they're not really kings. They're not the kings of martial arts. They're not a divinely appointed person. They're just actors. Your leaders, your politicians don't do these things. The people in your churches, they just act as controlled opposition. If you're just feeding the wolf and pretending to help the poor, are you speaking up for them? No. But I have done these things because I am the King of Kings. I am the true King. In the next section, it's called epilogue, the wife of noble character. So how does the Bible describe a wife of noble character? And how common does it say that she is? Verse 10, a wife of noble character, who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. It says, who can find? You're not going to find her. That's part of when we get the end, right? The seal, right? The lays. Okay, the silly, the shady, the goofy, the fatty, the sloppy. In what way, right? It's one thing to be overweight and to be a person of God trying to work on your mind, body, and soul. It's another thing to be a fatty, someone who's decided in their heart to just give into it. Same thing with shady and all these other things. Unrepentant sinners who've given in to the paths of sin, who don't have the heart to serve God, who just want to be a silly fool, etc. Silly, right? Goofy, giddy, wussy, pansy, fraidy cat. A wife of noble character who can find, right? The last E, lazy, what have you, is the word seal scrambled. That's not a coincidence. So again, a wife of noble character who can find, she's worth far more than rubies. It can be a city, women with certain commonalities of spirit. And Nimrod's first wife, Nimrod founded Babylon when it was right with God. Then later on, they start doing all this nonsense, the Tower of Babel, and so on and so forth. He is the husband of her youth, the gate of God, which God's spirit came through. See, Nimrod's name, according to some, means we shall rebel. But what it's referring to, because we got to interpret it within the boundaries of righteousness and justice, right? Because we can look at Moses' name, says means to draw out, okay? You can draw out, purge the filth and draw them out of the Jewish people, okay? Or you can draw out Moses from the water. So, or draw out the good. So what does it mean we shall rebel against who? It says the offspring of Nimrod that rebelled against Nimrod, they rebelled and built the Tower of Babel. Because Nimrod was a mighty hunter, mighty warrior for the Lord. He was right with God. Excuse me, I'm being feud. He was right with God. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like merchant ships bringing her food from afar. Now, there's all kinds of connections to Revelation, right? The merchants stand and cry because the wife of noble character, Babylon, okay, has fallen, right? That's what it says. It's the great city that rules over the kings of the earth, Babylon, especially Jerusalem and Babylon. It says Babylon the great has fallen. Babylon in you, instead of Christ in you, okay, has fallen. And the things that she has to offer are useless, right? Her smoke from her torment rises forever and ever, okay? She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard, right? But at this point, it's supposed to be the vineyard of the Lord. Later on, it's not. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night, right? The lamp of God. Keep your lamps burning, the lamps of obeying God. In her hand, she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers, right? So her spirit reflects that she's obeying God. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hand to the needy. She's not a gold digger. She's not looking for financial stability at all. A lot of Christians were poor, asking for bread. She's not some groupie who listens to these liars in church and these liars who talk about you need a guy with money and da-da-da. She doesn't listen to Kanye West who says, she's not a gold digger, but she ain't looking for some broke guy. Okay? Money doesn't factor in at all. When it snows, she has no fear for her household. For all of them are clothed in scarlet. And we see that it's referenced in Revelation 18, where it says no one buys her cargoes anymore. Cargoes of fine linen, purple, silk, and scarlet cloth. Okay? Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes a seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies the merchants with sashes. We're going back to Isaiah, where it talks about righteousness and faithfulness on his belt and sash. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate.